from Berkshire Bike and Board. We are at Norbrook Farm Brewery, and we got a new 5010 and a new Santa Cruz Tallboy. So, Jason was nice enough to throw the bikes in the back of his car for us, bring them down here. We got $25,000 worth of bikes in the back of a $2,500 car. Here we go. Tuck, I need your help. Tucker. Oh, hey, buddy. All right. Okay.
Easy as easy.
That's a new 5010, which I'm actually excited to ride. This is the new Tallboy, which basically looks like Santa Cruz hired somebody from Specialized to put a swap box on the old Tallboy and kept everything else the same. But I didn't tell you that. Come on.
Darren, this is very difficult. Doesn't want to go. How many PSI is your on?
A lot. I got a lot of pressure in there. My name's Jaryn.
And I'm Tucker.
So, here's the deal. This is a brand spanking new 2023 Santa Cruz Tallboy. That is the new 5010. I want to talk a lot of trash about the new Tallboy because, again, I don't think they changed anything on the bike, but I just pedaled over here about 30 seconds and I just fall in love with the bike every time I ride it. I hate that because it's not exciting, but if it ain't broke, don't fix it. I'm excited to ride this. If you want to know about all the this many inches of travel and this many gizmos of that, there's a million videos on YouTube about that. We're gonna do something a little different. We're gonna ride them. It's a mixed wheel. That's the biggest thing that's new. There's a sag window, but it's not really that exciting.
And it's red.
The color looks good. These bikes are fresh out of the box. I mean, that one came out of the box a couple days ago. This one came out of the box 24 hours ago. The brakes are not bedded in. The suspension is basically set up how it came out of the box, although I did adjust the air pressure. There's a pretty good amount in those tires, and there's more in these tires by feel, but it feels pretty good. We're at Norbrook, and we're gonna do this. Tucker's gonna start in the 5010. I'm gonna start in the Tallboy. We're gonna do a lap down.
Double down?
Which is a fairly smooth, windy downhill trail. Then we're gonna ride back up,
Steve Quinn.
which is a fairly smooth but windy uphill. We're gonna time the downs and the ups for each of us. And then we're gonna switch bikes and do a run on each bike down and up again. Because it's fun to ride bikes like this back to back, and we wanna see what the times look like. I will say that I'm tired and not in shape, so I'm gonna give it about a 85% down and 85% up, both laps. Try to keep it somewhat the same because I don't wanna crash. Tucker's a teenager. His job today is to give her the full beans and not crash, but see how fast he can go. After that, we'll do a little comparison. Let's go ride some bikes. When you go to Thunder tomorrow morning? Yeah. On your way there.
Where's Jaryn? Oh, here he is.
You crash?
Hey, kidding.
Yes. Okay, here's my first take. One, we started together. Tucker was dusting me pretty good, and then he crashed.
Yeah.
Which counts. So I caught him for a second, and then he dropped me again. But not by much, let's put it that way. I do have one thing that I was thinking about when I was riding this thing down. The best thing I can say about the new Tallboy is there's nothing wrong with it. You know, I ride a bunch of different bikes. I'm not that particular, but right away I can usually spot a major flaw. There's nothing wrong with it. It's fast. It was slippery. There's way too much air pressure in the tires. I'm out of shape. I had a foot-long grinder about an hour ago.
Jeez, where do they find this guy?
It's pretty good. You got any fine words?
Yeah, I mean, coming off like a 36-pound enduro bike, this is definitely a treat. Super lightweight. I'd really like to get it set up for my riding style a little better. The mullet corners super well, and yeah, it's super playful.
Okay, so now we're going up. I'm not gonna try to keep up with them. I'm gonna go at my own pace. Okay, went pretty well. I gave it all instead of 85% because I'm competitive. I could see Tucker the whole way. And I actually was like, is he trying? Maybe he's not trying. Is he trying? Bike's fast. Fast uphill. Fast downhill. I'm excited to ride the 5010. My time will probably be twice as long because I'm pretty gassed right now, but that felt good. A couple interesting things that we completely messed up. That's a medium Tallboy. That's a large 5010. I'd probably rather ride a large Tallboy and a medium 5010 because I like hitting jumps on a smaller bike, and that's what that thing is made for, but we're not perfect. Plus, this is pretty much what we could get, so you take what you can get. Couple other things. I'm not making excuses, but my seat post was low. How'd it go for you?
Went great. Definitely gave her the beans on that one.
How'd you feel about hearing me in the background?
Oh, it was awesome.
I was trying to shift real quietly. You know, like when you're trying to catch somebody, you shift silently so they don't know you're behind them. I was pulling out all the moves.
Oh, yeah.
I was on you.
Yeah, you were. Yep.
What the hell is wrong with you?
I don't know. I guess I'm just slow.
Here's the good news. Jason was riding a Specialized Kenevo. I think it's an S-Works Kenevo. A real nice one. It's got a motor in it. He started 5 seconds behind us and we dusted him.
That is a sweet bike.
Now we swap and...
You already smashed the derailleur on that, Jaryn?
Yeah, yeah. I have some things to say. Okay, first off, I left tons of air pressure out of the tires and the thing actually gripped in the ground. We didn't say this before, but it's New England. It rained for the last 36 hours and there's just enough leaves on the trail to make the whole thing feel like an oil slick. The bike feels amazing. It turns. Oh, it turns.
I know.
Here's my issue. Tucker's dropper is broken, and I put pedals with no pins on his bike. Pedals with no pins on his bike to cheat. And he gave me 20-second head start, and he fucking caught me halfway down. Bleep that out. Just bleep it out. Just bleep it out.
That shit is definitely not getting bleeped out.
Damn, I was going to, and I'm like, this bike is so fast. It feels so good. I'm killing it. And then I hear him. And then he cuts a berm and passes me. I got him back just barely. It's not all about going fast when you get older, you know? It's about having fun, right? That's my take. You got any words of wisdom? You don't have any wisdom.
No,
You're a teenager.
I beat you.
He beat me. We'll see what the Strava time says.
Oh, yeah.
Tucker's a man of few words
Damn.
and lets the bike do the talking.
This thing is sick, though. I like both of them. All right, let's see how the climb goes. Whoa! Hold on, Jason's coming. Whoa! Hold on. I'm not ready yet. Where's the start?
Oh, Jen, I'm hungry.
Where's the start? Is the start?
Yeah, it's right here.
Okay. Oh, yeah.
He's scanning on you, Jaryn. He's right there, Jaryn. Let's go. He's right there. I see him.
I gave it everything.
Tucker's not even breathing.
Here's the recap. 1, Uncle Jim sent me these new joggers because he thinks I should try to look more like Gen Z. And they're the Pearl Izumi amphibs. And I didn't realize that. I think they're for winter because there's a gallon of water in here. Part 2, I had him off the front. I cut him off. I had him for like 6 or 8 corners. And then he cheated. He passed me through the woods. Doesn't count. I went full gas. That bike, that one, the 5010, well, we'll see what the numbers say, but it does not feel fast going uphill. Not at all. Would you agree?
To me, like the first lap we did on it, it felt fast. Just kind of used to like my heavy bike. But then like going over to this, there was a huge difference. Like the pedaling efficiency is insane. Yeah, I'm not actually that tired right now. You know, like,
No, come on.
yeah, seriously.
I'll say that it's pretty bright out here, but it was pretty dark in there. And when you're at 110%, the vision is already kind of blurry. And I kept looking up, like I wasn't really looking at the trail. I was looking up because it was one of those trails like if this is the bank, you just kind of zigzag your way to the top. So I wasn't looking at the trail. I was looking up the hill to see if I could see Tucker. And because I was in a blackout, I kept thinking I was seeing him, you know.
Those spots, man, you can turn them into anything you want them to
I
be.
thought I could see him skipping through the woods a little bit, but well, this is the weird thing. I thought I was so far behind you, and then there's a little downhill section,
Yeah.
and then there's like the 10 switchbacks at the top.
Yeah.
You were right there.
Yeah.
So what happened? Did you fall?
What? Yeah, it was like a good 20 seconds in front of you, Jaryn.
20 seconds, that's it?
Yeah.
Oh, we're good. Woo! Thing rips. All right. So, I've had the weekend to enjoy my victories and also mull over my defeats of riding with
Tucker Share.
the new young gun here at the Berkshire Bike and Board Squad. We've both gathered our thoughts on the 5010 versus the Tallboy. Here goes nothing.
I'd say the 5010 is a better all-around bike, so if you're getting one bike, I'd choose the 5010 over the Tallboy. I know you don't quite share my opinion.
Who's the Tallboy for?
For someone who has maybe an enduro bike, downhill bike, and wants a lighter cross-country bike feeling to go rip around on local trails, I just don't feel like Tallboy has like as much off-the-top suppleness as the 5010. So
Wait, what does that mean?
for the first beginning of the travel, I'd say the Tallboy is a little softer. Off the top suppleness is basically how easily the bike goes into the first bit of travel. And so I'd say the 5010 it is softer off the top than the Tallboy.
All right, here's my take. I completely disagree with everything Tucker says, but we're different people at the end of the day, and that's the fun of this. Sure. So, I think the Tallboy, this generation, last generation, 3 generations ago, is the best mountain bike ever made. That's a bold statement. I don't think I'm unique in that statement. It goes up well, it goes down well, it goes off jumps well, it rides in the parking lot well, it looks good on the shop floor well. You really can't beat it. I said in the beginning it looks exactly like the old Tallboy, but with a swap box. I'll stick to that. I mean, the line is basically this. If it ain't broke, don't fix it, right? Santa Cruz does this well time and time again. They create bikes for mountain bike riders that everyone is essentially psyched with. I'm going to ride the 5010 this year if somebody can pry that red bike out of my hands, although I do want a medium. It's fun. It's different. It's playful. It's a good time. The back wheel, the 27.5 in the back, makes going around corners fun. He does it better. I'll give him credit on that one. It just is something new and different to try, and I think I'm going to like it a lot, especially going downhill. We'll talk about our Strava laps later, but I had a bear of a time going uphill anywhere near as fast as Tucker was on that bike versus when I was on the Tallboy and Tucker was on the 5010, I could see him the whole way. So, in my opinion, Tallboy works for everybody, works for everything. 5010, a little bit nichier. You know, if I was going to get a 5010, I'd want to have, well, not... How do I say this? I could have a Tallboy for the rest of my life and be happy. If I get a 5010, I'll probably ride one this year. I'm going to want something different the year after and something different the year after because it's got a bit more of a specific skill set. You can debate that.
Yeah, I mean, so I would have agreed with you last year maybe. This year they changed it up with the mullet rear wheel. So Tallboy full 29, 5010, 27.5 in the back, 29 in the front. Previously it was full 27.5, the 5010. And so that's definitely going to appeal to a more jibby crowd, hopping off of jumps and curbs and whatever, maybe set it up single speed.
But then you can't pedal it anywhere.
Then you can't pedal it anywhere, which is why last year it probably wouldn't have worked for most people, I'd say. This year, though, with the mullet, it descends better than the Tallboy, in my opinion.
I'll give you that.
And climbs well enough. Well enough. It's so close to the Tallboy, I really wouldn't count it out as the quiver killer.
Pick one.
But 5010.
I'm going Tallboy. All right, so the more important part of this is what did we do at Norbrook this past week to test these bikes? First of all, it was completely blind or raw, right? We didn't really practice on the bikes at all. We set them up pretty baseline. I'm 185 pounds and Tucker is
170.
We set the suspension up kind of right in between that. We didn't play around with too much settings. We pretty much rode them out of the box. We each took a lap down dirt sessions, which is a fairly playful downhill enduro trail.
Yeah, fairly flowy, not too much technical features on it.
Yeah. Kind of like a blue square, if you will, but a fun trail. And then we rode them back up Steve Quinn, which is a windy, smooth, I'd say blue square.
Like cross-country 1 mile climbing trail.
Yeah, so we each rode down and up, recorded on our Stravas, swapped bikes, down and up again. I thought I was going to really take the cake on this one. I still feel like because my Strava completely failed, I can take some credit for doing decently, but my times are completely non-existent. So we're going to go off... Huh?
You were on me.
I was on them, though. I was on them. Let's go through Tucker's Strava file because there's some interesting things in here. This is the Strava file from Tucker's Santa Cruz testing. So that's Norbrook. You get the gist there. There's a nice, big, fancy gold crown there. What does that mean, Tucker?
That means you get the KOM, King of the Mountain.
What does the KOM mean?
King of the Mountain.
Yeah, what does that mean?
Your fastest time overall.
Fastest time ever. So dirt sessions out of, is it 1,916 people or takes?
People. I've probably ridden that trail like between 50 and 100 times over the past couple of years. It's my local spot, so I've gone for this KOM quite a few times and just haven't been that extra couple seconds faster on it.
And what happened when you rode it on the best bike ever made?
On the Tallboy, you mean?
Yes.
Yes. Well, Jaryn tried to sabotage me with some slippery pedals. He was unsuccessful with trying to sabotage my KOM attempt, and I still managed to take it.
Whoa, back up a minute.
Back up a little bit.
What are you doing, Jaryn?
What am I doing? That's a nice pedal. I use these. This, or I should say this is a new Specialized pedal hot off the press. It's their new test ride pedal. There's not a pin in sight there. It's like any good race car driver will tell you. If you can't win, cheat. That's what I'm doing.
What is this, the Lance Armstrong
I'm gonna swap
channel?
These. I already did my lap on the Tallboy, and I don't want to lose. At least I don't want to lose by any more than I already lost. I also broke the dropper post, so he's got no dropper either. So things are looking good for me.
Still gonna smoke him.
We got no tools either, so we'll hand tighten these and then we'll be good to go. Wait a second. So the KOM that you got was on the new Tallboy.
Yeah.
First time ever riding it. First 3 minutes of ever riding it.
Yeah.
And it was with slippery recreational pedals.
Yes.
I think that pretty much sums it up. That's what I would say. As you can see here, I'm doing a screen share here, but basically Tucker Shearer, first place ever. You can see it right there. I'm highlighting it. Out of 1,916 different people, he got first, basically blind. It's the best bike ever made.
Not blind. I knew the trail super well, but yeah, bike was not set up for me in the slightest.
And it was the first time you got on the bike.
Yes.
You didn't take 5 practice laps.
No.
It sums it up. It's the best bike ever made.
True.
What do I have to say about myself? Well, we went through the laps. You'll see it in the video, but basically, this is what happened. The first lap, Tucker rode the Tallboy. I rode the 5010. I was on him like white on rice until I wasn't. I believe he... Did you crash? No, you didn't crash
I crashed on the 5010.
Oh, yeah, so I was on the Tallboy first lap.
Yeah.
I was all over him, and then I wasn't. He beat me by probably 10 seconds?
Yeah.
Seems like a lot, but we'll call it 10 seconds. Going up, my Strava failed again. I was on him like white on rice. Do we have an up time for you?
Yeah, scroll up.
Let's go to the up. Oh, no, wait, here.
Here, go back. I got 7th overall, though.
7th overall, going up on the 5010.
I believe so.
Our Strava times are all messed up. It's a fast bike.
Yeah.
Let's see what happened that day. Tucker Shearer, that's on the 5010?
Yeah.
743 out of 880. He's in 7th place. Fastest time you've ever done it.
Yeah. Yeah.
These are fast bikes.
Oh, yeah.
My 2 cents without looking at times for going up and down is the Tallboy felt incredibly fast. I will say the one thing that I always love about the Tallboy is that trail in particular has like kind of smooth, windy turns, and it didn't feel like I was slowing down at all in the corner. I could kind of speed up going into the corner, keep my speed going, and exit fast.
Yeah, yeah.
The 5010, personally, felt like I was half in a wheelie going uphill. Granted, it was my second pass, and I was absolutely gassed after my first take, but by feel, not looking at times, it felt dramatically slower going uphill.
Yeah, I mean, I can kind of agree with that. The 5010 has a slacker seat tube angle and head tube angle, so it is going to feel a little more floppy going through those tight switchbacks, as well as a little farther over the rear end,
but
over the steep stuff.
That's what makes it so fun going downhill.
True, yeah. Yeah, so the slack head angle on the 5010 really does help on those like techie descents.
It turns.
It turns really well as well, yeah. The difference in head angle isn't much. It's like, I think it's like 0.6 of a degree. But,
Does it make a difference? Is it the head angle?
I'd say it's mostly the mullet. Numbers on paper are pretty similar, 5010 to Tallboy. But the mullet does make a big difference, in my opinion.
If you say so. We'll take his word. He's a teenager. He knows more about all the tech specs. Most important part is that I'll be back. Forrest, who just walked upstairs, wants a piece of the action.
They better come ready because they know the boys in town.
So stay tuned for a Tucker versus Stefan versus Forrest versus Jaryn. We'll call it a teenager versus someone in their 20s versus somebody in their 30s versus somebody in their 40s on an electric bike. We will see what happens. In the spirit of fun, we like to do the Fig Lap. As you know, it's the same track on a bunch of different bikes. We've done one so far, the Santa Cruz 5010. Now, for that particular lap, you have to remember that Tucker did this whole thing in a wheelie pretty much. It took him 2 minutes, 12 seconds, and 65 smaller seconds. We did another lap on the Tallboy, which you're about to see now. Got a brand new Tallboy matte taupe. This is the S build. All right, we got a fig lap for you. The best mountain bike ever made. I don't know what's gonna stand up to some road bikes or maybe some e-bikes, but the Fig, Santa Cruz, I'm going to the top of the list on this one. Tallboy, Santa Cruz Tallboy C MX S kit did the lap in 1 minute, 10 seconds, 0.16 smaller seconds. Top of the blocks. I say no more.
Guy, you might want to recheck those specs.
Oops. It's a 29. With that being said, like I always say, if you're talking endurance sports, round up for distance, round down for time. Thanks for watching. Oh no! What do we break?
Spoke broke and went through the rim tape.
Oh, we better go fast.
And Jen, we got a porcupine up on your right.
What are you looking at? Get out of here.